Hello guys and welcome to another video on my channel. First of all, I want to thank all the new subscribers and the new viewers. I did not expect to have this many views on my last video, especially due to the fact that my last video was like 2 years ago. So that's crazy. Thank you all very much. But now that I have a few subscribers and some nice views, let's work to get everybody unsubscribed, because today's topic are homage watches or hommage watches or whatever you want to call it. You see, homage watches are not created equal. There are many homage watches, there are good homage watches, there are not so good homage watches, and there are junk pieces. But let's start with some good ones. I have 3 homage watches here today that I'm gonna show you. I'm going to show you why those are good ones and why other ones are not that good but still good, and why other ones are junk. So let's get started. Let's begin with this piece right here. This one is a Seiko SUP88 II. I think that's the reference. As you can probably tell right away, this is an homage of the well-known Cartier tank. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, definitely Cartier tank. I'm gonna put a picture right there so you can see that you can compare the two pieces. You get the stone on the side. Obviously, it's not an onyx. Obviously, this one is not a real onyx. I don't know if it's even a stone or if it's just painted black. I have no idea. So why is this thing okay? Because if you would think straight, it's just a blatant copy of the design of the tank, which is kind of true, but not completely. Because of course the case is the standard Cartier tank case. It's the H shaped case. But there are a few things that are different. First of all, I hope you can see that. It is tapestry painted. I think right there with when the light hits it, when the light hits it, I think you can see that it's tapestried, like the Datejust, for example, the Rolex Datejust 16013. Is it possible to see that? I don't know. Focus. Yeah, I think with the light you can see it. And as far as I know, there is no Cartier tank that has a tapestry on the full dial. There are some with tapestry in the middle, like in the small square. If it is even tapestry, I'm not sure. Maybe it's that crazy French word thing that I've no idea what it's called. Yeah, guilloche, I think. But as far as I know, there's no full tapestry dial at a real Cartier tank. And the next thing, as you can probably tell right away, it's solar powered. And also with this thing, there is no solar-powered Cartier tank. So even though, yes, the design is copied, the watch itself is kind of original, because, as I said, there is no solar-powered Cartier tank, and there is no tapestry dial Cartier tank. And as far as I know, I'm not even sure if, at least in the new collection, there's not even one with an onyx. I think also the new golden Cartier tanks have sapphire and not an onyx. But maybe there's an older one that has an onyx. I'm not sure on that. So that's the first one. Also, this watch costs, I think, $100 or something like that, $100, which is obviously a completely different price range than the $2,500 or something, where the Cartier tank starts. So let's get to the next one. The next on the list is this Orient President. Well, you can probably tell right away that this is an homage to the Rolex Day-Date, especially to the, I think it's the 80s reference. Yeah, I mean, this one is pretty much a complete copy. You get the same bracelet. You have even the same dial layout with the Roman numerals on this small thing, on the small circle around the dial. You have the crest and the name on the same place as on the Rolex. You have that writing, the jewels and the water resistance on the same place where on the Rolex it says superlative chronometer official certified or something like that. And also, of course, the place of the day and the date is exactly the same. So why is this blatant copy, as you could say, still considered an okay homage in my eyes? Well, that's a pretty easy fact. It's the fact that those Orient Day-Dates are vintage and are not made anymore, which makes them actually quite valuable. You might not think of that fact, but it's true. Those go around $500 or something like that, and I mean for an Orient, that's pretty much that's much money. For the other features, you can see it's automatic, like the Rolex, although it's not hacking and it's not manual wound. And even worse, it's not even quick set. It's only quick set for the date, but it's not quick set for the day, unfortunately. So to set the date, you have to go completely around until it changes. And if you have multiple days that you want to change, you have to go back and then go forward again. Maybe it's hurting the movement. I don't know. I think I don't have a manual book for this watch. I don't know if that's the correct way, or if you really have to go around all the time, because I think the 1803 reference Rolex Day-Dates, the old ones prior to the 80s, I think, you have to manually set the day and the date as well. And with that one, you can't change it by go back to 10 o'clock or something and then go back like I just showed you. So yeah, also this is a stainless steel watch, which you probably know there is no stainless steel Day-Date. There is one in white gold, but there is no stainless steel. So yeah, that's the next one. And last but not least, I have this Seiko. I have no idea what's the reference is, so I'm gonna put it right here. This is a new one, a new version of an old homage watch that Seiko manufactured in, I think, in the 90s or something. The older ones were Seiko 5s and were actually automatic, also day and date. This new one is quartz, and it's also a little bit more expensive than the old one was. Those are going for, I'm not sure, I think $200 or $300 or something. or euros. I'm not sure. So why is this okay in my eyes? As you can probably tell, it's the same layout as the Datejust, apart from the day and the date. And well, that's actually the big point. It's not a Datejust homage, it's a day-date homage, so to speak. I mean, because it's not only the date, it's a day and the date. And also, as far as I know, I don't think there's a silver dial Datejust, silver dial two-tone Datejust, as far as I know. But maybe there's one. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look it up afterwards. So the biggest fact that all those three watches have in common, which make them superior and also good homage watches, is not only the fact that there are good watches themselves, but it's the company. Seiko and Orient. Orient is owned by Seiko. Seiko is a big, massive watch company. They were founded in 1881. They've made huge amount of innovations. The quartz movement, for example, the spring drive. They have, I don't know how many original design models. They've probably 1,000. I don't know. I mean, even the Seiko, only the Seiko 5 lineage has, I don't know, like hundreds different designs. So for a company like Seiko, it's completely okay if they do a Datejust homage or a tank homage, or as their daughter company, a day-date homage. But on the other hand, what we are going to discuss is Steinhardt. Well, Steinhardt particularly have great movements. They're great build quality. There are good watches themselves. But the only issue with Steinhardt that I, for myself, have is they don't have anything original. You see, they have, I think, one watch that they are calling their own, which is basically still a Submariner with kind of design elements from the Tudor Black Bay. Yeah, they're good watches, but it's not a good company, because the company doesn't have anything to show themselves, you know? So I'm not saying that Steinhardt are bad watches, not at all. Steinhardt are good watches, even though they are a little bit pricey. There are some premium called lines that they are offer that are even 1,000 euros, and I for myself would not spend that much money on a homage watch. I mean, for 1,000 euros you get really good original ones, or you can even, depends on the watch, you can even save up for the watch you actually want. The next on the list is Invicta. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Invicta is a topic on its own, and I'm only going to speak about the homage watches right now. The homage watches are actually a very good bang for a buck. You're getting an automatic movement, 100-meter water resistance, you get Swiss made, and I mean all that for $100. Yeah, the best sellers of Invicta are Submariner homages. And the big problem with Invicta is that there used to be a really good Swiss company. They made really nice watches. And I'm not gonna say that their watches are crap, which is not true. At least their homage watches. They're not crap. They're really good bang for buck. But all they do is making homage watches, apart from their shitty, big, chunky things that nobody wants and nobody buys, and they're trying to gift them or make offers like buy one get free for free or something like that. But Invicta is another topic for an own video only about Invicta. So now that we have discussed the good homage watches, the still pretty good, but with kind of minor things that are not as good as they should be, let's talk about Parnis, Alpha, and every other junk you see on Amazon. You see, I'm not a watch snob. I have a pretty big watch collection, from pieces like homage watches, G-Shocks, and up to until I've owned once a Patek Philippe. So I like all watches from all kinds of manufacturers, despite the price. But you see, if all that your company does is making shitty watches with Chinese movements that look like a Rolex, where just the name is different, that it doesn't say Rolex but it says Parnis, that's junk. And I, for myself, will never respect somebody for buying one of those watches. It's almost worse than an Apple Watch, in my opinion, because an Apple Watch is at least a gadget. With those thing, I don't know, it's almost like a fake. It's, especially for the price, for like 200 euros, you could get a real Orient Ray 2, for example, that looks exactly, not exactly that, but it looks kind of like a Submariner, but has its own design and is still a good watch. So yeah, if you do want to do yourself a favor, if you want to buy homage watches, go with good manufacturers like Seiko, Orient. If you have a little bit more money, and also depends on the watch you want to have an homage, go with Zinn. Zinn has an amazing Breitling Navitimer homage. Amazing watch, great quality. If you want a Rolex Submariner, for example, and you don't have the 6,000 or what is it on used markets, on vintage ones, go with a Tudor. Go with a Tudor Black Bay, for instance, or if you want a day date, you can go with or of course you can go vintage with the old Orients. And if you have a little bit more money, but not as much as, like below 1,000, yeah, go with Steinhardt. No problem. They are great quality watches. But don't buy Parnis and the other shit. Don't do it. So yeah, that's it for the video. Tell me in the comments what's your opinion about it. Trying to answer to all the comments that I receive, as far as there are questions and reasonable, and not just comments that say I suck. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.